Hey guys, welcome to the Vanity Mirror. Today I am going to be going over all of the products that I got in my Ipsy and Boxycharm last month in a review type fashion. So I was just getting my channel started in like the middle of the month when I got my Boxycharm and Ipsy, so I didn't really have a chance to do unboxings, but I am going to do a review of all of the products that I got. From here on out, I do plan on keeping this pattern, but I will do the unboxings and I will keep them separate. I'll do an Ipsy unboxing and Boxycharm unboxing, I guess Ipsy unzipping, and I will post those, and then a couple weeks later, like the beginning of the following month, I will do a review of the products. And this kind of goes along with what I was saying in my my April haul that I did last week. People they show the stuff that they got, and then they sometimes they never talk about that product ever again, and I think that it's helpful to know how those products worked out for them, especially if you're on the fence about Ipsy or Boxycharm, and or just some of the products that you heard people talk about that they got. So I'm here to save the day and tell you what I thought about the products that were in my Boxycharm and my Ipsy. I am putting them together in this video just because of the way this week worked out. By the time you're watching this, I will be a few days deep into Disneyland. So this is pre-recorded, and that's why I couldn't do two, so I guess I could have just filmed them separately. But well, this is how you're getting it this month, deal with it. If you're only interested in Boxycharm, I'll put the time stamp right here, ish, of when that starts. But I am going to do both Ipsy first and then Boxycharm. So, without further ado, let's get started. The first product from my Ipsy bag from this last month that I'm going to talk about is this Luxie 660 Precision Foundation Brush. I will be honest, I was not excited about this because it's a paddle foundation brush, and I'm not a huge fan of these types of foundation brushes. I just don't typically think they do a very good job of evenly distributing my foundation, and leaving them streaky is kind of an issue. But this one actually didn't do too bad. It really didn't leave my foundation super streaky. It did after going over it a few times, it definitely left it smooth, if that makes sense. However, I do think because it's so thick, that's not a super thin paddle brush, picks up some product because I noticed less coverage when I used this versus other brushes. Also, what I don't like about it is there's these two little hairs here. Obviously, not everybody's is like that, but mine has these two little hairs sticking up, and I just have this weird thing where I'm worried that if I pull them, the whole thing's gonna come unraveled, and just like a sweater that you pull a thread on. And is that irrational? A little bit. Would I super duper recommend this brush? Maybe not if you're worried about a brush picking up and stealing some of your foundation, you little thief. The next product that I got in my Ipsy bag was this Aloe Soothing Gel from the brand Hanalei, I think is how you pronounce that. It's aloe. There's nothing that special about aloe. I'm sorry, but I can get aloe anywhere. So I used it under my makeup one day, just to see if it seemed to make any type of a difference, and there wasn't really anything I noticed. I don't know, maybe it's just unnecessary for my skin. I don't really know. I don't have super red, irritated, super sensitive skin. Maybe this is better for some people like that. But another thing that I really hate about this, I'm sorry to use the word hate, that's silly, but I despise the smell of cucumber, and this smells like cucumber. If you like the smell of cucumber and you have sensitive skin, maybe this product is great for you, but it just was not something that was necessary for me. It just wasn't that exceptional to me. Even my husband, who has some skin stuff, and I told him he could use this, didn't keep using it. He kind of forgot about it, so that just tells me even more how just unremarkable this kind of is. The next product that I got in my Ipsy bag was this No Problem Primer for hiding pores and wrinkles from the brand Touch in Soul. Honestly, there was nothing horrible about it. I mean, it's a primer. It worked. However, I did notice that my Angel Veil primer that I have, the NYX Angel Veil primer, which is the one I use the most, just it makes my makeup last longer than this does. It does a pretty good job of blurring my pores like it says it will, but yeah, it just doesn't last as long as my Angel Veil, so it's not something I would particularly reach for. The next thing that I got in Ipsy was this Ciate London bronzer. I think everyone got one of these this month. Sorry about I don't know if you can see that. But mine is in the shade Bamboo Bronzer. Oh wait, that's what this is. Kidding. In the shade Palm Island. What I really like about this is really cute. The little bow is adorable, and it's also super silky smooth. Like, it's really super silky smooth. But I'm about to show you. Even though my lighting's not perfect right now because it's getting a little dark outside, I mean, I think I'm going to use this as a setting powder because it is literally exactly my skin tone pretty much. It's just maybe a touch darker than my skin tone, and I kind of want something deeper for my bronzer. I'm actually using this today because I thought I would give it one more try before I really made a decision, and same, I don't see anything on my skin. I just feel like they know what my skin tone is. Well, they can't know perfectly, obviously, Ipsy. I mean, they know I have a medium skin tone. I feel like they just gave me a medium skin toned color bronzer, where it needs to be deeper than your skin in order for it to actually bronze. I mean, that makes sense, right? I think that makes sense. The last thing that I got in my Boxycharm, not my Boxycharm, sorry, my Ipsy bag, was this Naked Cosmetics Pigment in the color Heavy Metal. I will show you it. It comes in a loose powder, so I don't want to like tilt it too much. I will swatch it for you. It's a really pretty like burnt orange color. Oh yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is gorgeous. Do you see that? It's beautiful. That was like, I like literally touched my finger inside the cap and this is what came out. It's wonderfully pigmented. It is a pigment. Oh, pigmented. What do you think? What do you think? What do you know? So I really like the color. I like that it's so pigmented. It's obviously a very good product. It does tend to get a little patchy throughout the day. Like it wears out patchy. It's not super flattering and not ideal. And also what I don't particularly like about it is this is literally like the 4th time I've gotten this exact color from Ipsy. Apparently they think this is the only color I like, because I just keep getting this exact burnt orange color over and over and over and over. Come on, give me some variety, people. That's it for what I got in my Ipsy bag. That's my little mini reviews on the products that I got. Just kind of like as a little overview. I think the primer works just fine. It's just I've used better, so anybody who likes pore filling primers, they might like it, but I wouldn't necessarily say go for that one. With the brush, take some of your product. So I don't know if I would recommend that either. This aloe gel I'm sure might be great for somebody with super sensitive red skin. I just don't have that. The bronzer was exactly my skin tone, which I guess doesn't mean it's bad. The texture is so creamy, it's so easy to blend, so as long as the color is right for you as a bronzer, I think it's great. And then that pigment is gorgeous. It works great. It just patchy, and it is a color I've gotten 1,000 times. Sounds like a personal problem. Yeah, I know. It is. Moving on. So the things that I got in Boxycharm this month. First, I will show you these brushes. This was only my second I have no idea. This is only my second Boxycharm, so I didn't get the sponges, and from what I hear, the sponges weren't super good. Like maybe they used to be really good, but they're not as good anymore. I don't know. I've heard that in a few places, but I got these brushes instead. Now, this foundation brush. So this is the Pure, I don't have the names in front of me, but it's a foundation brush. It's kind of got these, like a stippling edge, and it's flat. And I actually did like this for putting on my foundation. It didn't leave it streaky. It did a good job of spreading it evenly around my face. I didn't feel like it really stole much product from me. However, I just think it took longer to blend in my foundation than other brushes that I have, and even a little longer than the Beauty Blender. So, I mean, I don't know if I'll necessarily reach for this unless my other brushes are dirty and I need to use it. This is the blurring concealer brush, and I know I'm gonna get some kind of use out of this because it is a really great brush. It's really soft, it's like stiff but not too stiff, it's flexible, so I'll get some type of use out of this. But for blending my concealer, I just have a brush that works better, and it's the contour brush from the Real Techniques kit, I believe. It just works a little bit better and a little bit quicker than this does for blurring my concealer. So I'm sure I'll find something to do with this because it really is a good brush though. The next product that I got in my Boxycharm was one that everybody got in their Boxycharm this month, and that is this concealer collection palette. I will show you what it looks like. So this palette is wonderful for some reasons, and partially because of how many colors there are. It's very versatile. I've been able to find a color that matches my skin tone, like this cappuccino one pretty much matches my skin tone, so I've used it to cover some blemishes. The creme brulee up here has like a pink tone that I like for under my eyes because my Tarte Shape Tape concealer is a little too light, so I'll use that in this and mix them together as my under eye concealer. But I could use the ivory otherwise for under eye because it has that pink tone that combats the blue. And it also goes into these super dark shades, which I think is great. You can use it to contour or just for somebody with a darker skin tone. These are perfect because there's your shades for concealer. I think it's great. Obviously somewhat pointless for everybody to have this whole thing because you definitely are not going to use all of these shades most likely, but I do appreciate it. What I do not like about this is that you have to dip your fingers in it really to get good product out of it. I tried using just a brush and that didn't seem to work very well. And also, so like dipping your fingers in it is just kind of gross over time, as long as your fingers are clean, I suppose. I'm not a huge fan of the formula. It's just kind of, it's a little thick and it's just not very creamy. That's about all I can say about it. Like, you can get it warm between your fingers and it's still just not my favorite consistency. It works for little jobs. I will probably keep using it, honestly. So I guess if you don't mind that it's not super creamy and that you have to dip your fingers in it, or if you have a brush that's really good for dipping in it, I say go for it. The next product that I got in the Boxycharm this month is this Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. I believe everybody got this as well. Here's what it looks like. I will swatch it for you. Can you see that there in my hand right there? So it is really, really a gorgeous golden highlight. It is really beautiful, really glowy, not too chunky. What I don't like about this though is that I can put like a tiny bit on my cheeks, but it can easily and quickly go overboard if you're not into an intense highlight. I definitely like it. I'm like staring at it like, oh, so pretty. I definitely like to have that glowy look to my cheeks, but I don't like it to be like bam, you know, like highlight. So it just, I feel like it quickly gets intense if you're not careful and if you don't have a light hand with it, but it is a beautiful, gorgeous highlight. The next product I got in my Boxycharm is this Cargo eyeshadow in the shade Yukon. I will show it to you. I love it just came out of a pan and broke. Yeah, that happened. The show must go on. So it is a really pretty chocolatey brown. Why don't I just take it off my table? It's right here. And that brings me quickly to what I do not like about it. I just think it's a little dry. It's not super dry, it's not super creamy to the touch, and there's just not a ton of pigment. I have other brown eyeshadows very similar to this one that are just way better in texture, in formula, and in pigment. And so while this is a really pretty color, you could probably build it up or use like a wet brush to get more pigment out of it. I'm sure that would work perfectly fine. I just do think I have other brown eyeshadows that are better. The last thing that I got in this month's BoxyCharm was this right here, and this is the Aloepure Skincare Time Repair Serum. At first, I was kind of like, I am not an old lady, okay? But then someone so kindly reminded me on Instagram that you should start your anti-aging regimens younger because it's harder to reverse it later. Makes total sense to me, and I am starting to get some tiny fine lines like on my eyes and around my eyebrows and that kind of thing. So I figure, meh, fine, I'll use it. And I like it. I mean, it's not like I'm noticing anything really yet, but it feels nice on my skin. When you put it on your skin, it definitely sinks in quickly. It doesn't like sit around and leave a greasy residue, nothing like that. So I like it. I've been putting it underneath my moisturizer at night, and like I said, it's not like I really notice anything yet, but it's not doing anything bad. And I do like the way it feels on my skin and how it just sinks in and goes away. One thing I will say that I do not like about it is the smell. Oh, I'm so sorry. There is no offense meant, but it smells like old lady. Well guys, that wraps up my reviews of everything that I got in my Ipsy and Boxycharm this month. Next month you will see my Ipsy unzipping and my Boxycharm unboxing in separate videos, and then a couple weeks later, like at the beginning of June, I will do a review video for each. I think this is something that can be really helpful for people who are on the fence about Ipsy or Boxycharm. Maybe they can see some of the products and the quality of products that come in the boxes. You can see people unboxing them all you want, but if you never know, like, wait, were those products actually, like, were they good or not? If you never find out, how do you know that you actually want to invest in it? So I feel like this is something that's helpful. But also, just say I got something different in my box or my bag than you did, and you can kind of get and feel for what was good about these products and what was bad about them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And I will be posting another video in a few days when I get back from Disneyland. And it's going to be my next, let me tell ya. Finally. And again, it's going to be a good one called Hey Donovan, so you should definitely check that out. Thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Oh, crap. What's the word? Formula. Look at that. Look. Ow. It just exploded on me.